The 6th-ranked St. John's Red Storm invading Fiserv Forum to take on the 20th-ranked Golden Eagles of Marquette. Packed house is what we will have here today, and we are excited to bring this one to you, everybody. Brandon Gaudin, the birthday boy, Robbie Hummel on hand as well. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Look, this should be a great game. St. John's just wrapped up their first Big East regular season title in 40 years, so they come in with all of that on their shoulders. Marquette, they're playing for a Big East tournament seed and also an NCAA tournament seed here today.
Well, and you look at St. John's. I mean, the Rick Pitino bump in year 2 is a very real thing. Coming into today, a 3-game lead in the Big East standings. You're absolutely right. Right now, St. John's, a 2 seed for Mike DeCourcy, Marquette, a 6. So you're trying to build on that, trying to solidify that for the St. John's Red Storm.
And they are led by that man, R.J. Lewis Jr. A lot of people think that he will be the Big East Player of the Year. He's phenomenal. Between he and Cam Jones on the other side, you got a couple of stars out here today.
You really do. 2 guys that are locks to make first-team All-Big East. R.J. Lewis is playing his best basketball of his season. Then you look at Cam Jones, the way that he's played all year long. So much gravity with how often the ball is in his hands. His usage super high. The assist numbers up over the last 4. 2 of those guys, not just the best players in the Big East Conference, but 2 of the best players in college basketball.
We have a great slate of hoops today here on Fox, and we are starting it off in grand fashion with the St. John's Red Storm and the Marquette Golden Eagles coming at you next. Sellout crowd on Senior Day for Marquette at Fiserv Forum, welcoming in St. John's, the Big East regular season champs. And here are the starting lineup, sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. For St. John's, a couple of omissions. Aaron Scott battling a hamstring injury. We're told he likely can go. He's not in the lineup. Davon Smith, who averages over 4 assists, 10 points a game, he will not go for St. John's. He re-aggravated a shoulder injury earlier this week, and he is out for the Red Storm. So even though Rick Pitino is celebrating the Big East regular season title, he has to do a little more work here on the sidelines.
Well, you know, maybe this gets Simeon Wilcher going. He's dealt with some foul trouble, maybe a little bit of a lack of confidence. 8 of his last 10 games in single digits, but he has had a bunch of fouls with no Davon Smith today. Wilcher going to get plenty of opportunities to get run.
You saw that note for Rick Pitino, first coach ever to win regular season titles now at 5 different schools. And on the other side, the Big East Coach of the Year from 2 seasons ago, Shaka Smart, who certainly has his team back in the tournament, but would help for them to get another resume win today.
Absolutely. You look at where they're seated. You could see him at the 5. You could see him at the 6. You know, for both these teams, a quad 1 opportunity before the Big East tournament. Just a good way to send yourself into the postseason. And what a matchup we've got. 2 of the best defenses in this conference going at it today.
James Breeding, Matt Potter, Nathan Farrell, the 3 officials. Golden Ejiofor at center court. For these 2 teams, folks, the last stop before the Garden in the Big East tournament. And off we go to start our Saturday here on Fox.
Well, Brandon, rebounding is going to be the game. First meeting back in February, St. John's out-rebounded Marquette 50-28, 21 offensive rebounds. That shot goes up. At times, that can be the best offense for this St. John team that struggles to shoot the ball.
And this is a man who gets a lot of those rebounds. Ejiofor gives it away, but Ibinayo can't connect. But there you go again on the offensive glass. However, that's knocked out to Marquette.
You can say we want a rebound, but it's another thing to do it, especially with Zuby Ejiofor, the best offensive rebounder in college basketball, leads the country in second chance points. Every time that shot goes up, you've got to find a body with him.
And that first match was February 4th at the Garden, 70-64. St. John's won it. Ben Gold been playing better as of late. Number 12 in blue sets a screen here for Jones. Problem is everybody stands until they score here. We can't see anything in the left corner, but that's a 3 off the mark. And St. John's fumbles it out of bounds.
Doesn't help that you're 5'8" either.
Well, you're standing up and you're 7'3". So yeah, I'm in trouble. I'm just watching it off the monitor right now. Hi, guys. St. John's did have this week off after winning against Seton Hall last weekend, so they did have some extra practice time. Also gave some of those guys that are injured a little bit of time off. There's a three-pointer by one of the seniors here on senior day, David Joplin.
Well, he's starting to ride the heater here. His last 2 games, he's averaged 20 a game. He's been efficient, 58 from the field, 36 from 3. St. John's going to have to lock in because David Joplin's in quite the rhythm.
Ejiofor using that pivot foot, can't get it. There's another offensive rebound, though. R.J. Lewis Jr. hanging, gets his own miss, puts it home.
Man, R.J. Lewis coming up a little bit hobbled there. That would be a major development if he tweaked that ankle.
Already without Davon Smith, Aaron Scott battling a hamstring injury, and R.J. Lewis is feeling something in that left ankle area. You're right, Rob. Jones splits the defense off the front of the rim.
Don't see him miss very many with that left hand. Jones so good. Second in the league in points in the paint. Very crafty, knows how to get to what he wants.
Lewis got the rebound and moving a little better. Sometimes that basketball, that pill can be good medicine.
Oh, I can score? Yeah, that's good.
Here's Kadari Richmond, skip to the corner. And that one rattles down. They're not a great three-point shooting team, but Simeon Wiltshire very capable.
He's only got 4 points in his last 2 games. So I think, you know, with this injury to Davon Smith, that can jumpstart him going to the postseason.
Here is R.J. Lewis. Cam Jones, so quick.
That's a way that Marquette can negate what's going to be a rebounding disadvantage this afternoon. Marquette not a great defensive rebounding team, but they did force turnovers in the first meeting, forced 14 of them. That's got to be the offset with the offensive rebounds.
Getting a hand in there, a foul on Sadiku Ibin-Ayo. Well, with the, you mentioned the defense that these two teams play, and with the pace that they play with, Rob, this should be a fun track.
It absolutely should. You watch St. John's over the course of a season. Yeah, the three-point shooting hasn't been great. They shoot 30% from 3 on the year. The free throw shooting hasn't been great either. But they've just got to get shots on the board. And they've been good at taking care of the basketball for most of this year. But their best offense can be just get that thing on the rim and let guys like Ejiofor and Lewis and even Kadari Richmond go get them.
Having trouble getting it in, but they do. By the way, number 0, Aaron Scott is in for St. John's, defending here, battling that hamstring injury. Three-pointer by Cam Jones.
That's a big shot right there, Brandon. As good as Cam Jones has played this season, 0 for his last 11 from 3, only 26% from 3 in Big East play. He's a capable shooter, but that's not really where he's done his damage.
Yeah, he was over 40% from downtown last year. They need to get him going from deep. Gives him the 1-point lead.
Be a lot of switching in this game, and that'll be opportunities for high lows. Good flash by Aaron Scott.
He's in all kinds of trouble, though. Throws up an air ball, but there's Ejiofor to clean it up.
Ejiofor just destroys people with his physicality. So impressive to see every time he's getting to the offensive glass.
Junior from Garland, Texas, and it has been a breakout junior season for Zuby Ejiofor. Gold lost that going up. I think Ejiofor, Robbie, one of the most improved players in the country.
Absolutely.
Now, he started his career Ejiofor at Kansas, didn't get a lot of playing time there. Last year, he backed up Joel Soriano, but this year it's his show, and he has risen to the top.
I think St. John's at times, and Bill Raftery talked about this in the Seton Hall broadcast, that they should throw him the ball more in the post because he has been an efficient post scorer as well. He can drive it from the perimeter, capable of picking and popping and shooting an occasional 3. Obviously great on the offensive glass, but he's got a lot of ability.
They legit have 3 guys that could belong on the first team in the Big East postseason. There's Ejiofor again.
He's going to have 4 offensive rebounds at the first media timeout.
Already 4 offensive rebounds for St. John's. There's a bump by Jones, 35 feet from the basket. And it will send us to our first media timeout. St. John's and Marquette, a great one today on Fox. Fox College Hoops is sponsored by Progressive. Progressive Insurance offers round-the-clock protection. Senior Day, Cam Jones, Stevie Mitchell, David Joplin all honored, along with walk-on Cam Brown before the game. That class has meant a lot. They're going to go to their 4th NCAA tournament this year. This is where they're at, Marquette. 4th currently in the standings. They're likely going to be in that 4-5 game in the Big East tournament. But hard to believe, Rob, that this is the final day of the Big East regular season.
We've made it here, and you think about how good this Big East tournament is going to be. Xavier, that would be a monster game with NCAA tournament implications. Now, if they win today, I think that they'd feel pretty good about making the tournament, but you really want to feel locked in. You'd want to beat Marquette there. So much to play for so many teams across the country going into the last game of the year.
Yeah, so St. John's is locked into being the top seed. It'll be the first time they've had the top seed of the Big East tournament in almost 4 decades. Marquette likely in the 4-5 game. There's a small chance that they could be a 3 seed, but a lot of things would have to break their way today. Here's Ejiofor. Already 3 offensive rebounds for St. John's big man. In the corner, lining it up off the mark for Scott.
Boy, great help there. I mean, Joplin is stopping the ball and then getting back to contest Aaron Scott's jumper there. That was high-level effort from David Joplin.
And Aaron Scott taking it away from Stevie Mitchell.
Both these teams can do it. Turnovers for certainly a strength of both these ball clubs.
Kadari Richmond off the mark. Look at that.
Ridiculous.
Ejiofor thought he got fouled by Gold.
Ejiofor already has his season average in offensive rebounds, and we've got 35 minutes left in the game. This comes to us.
And Marquette, not only do they force turnovers, they rarely turn it over, but that has not been the case so far here today. 4 turnovers in their last 5 trips. But Rick Pitino's teams will do that.
No, they will. But with that being said, Marquette is elite nationally in terms of their turnovers per game number. Only average 9 a game, lead the league, 4th nationally. They've got to kind of slow down here and gather themselves. Certainly have to do a better job on the glass, too. As that last timeout started up, David Joplin was on his teammates. We have got to rebound.
Wiltshire, 18-footer, bottom of the net. Coming off the bench the last 4. You mentioned it, his production down, but giving St. John's an early spark. Stevie Mitchell on the angle. Leans, no.
That's what they did in their last game against Connecticut. They got to the paint. It was not a great shooting night for them, but they did get to the dribble drives, get to that rim, find the painted area.
Whistle underneath, and that is going to go against Marquette.
Well, the way that Zuby Ejiofor has already affected this game, you know, in getting St. John's second chances and just keeping plays alive. Good luck blocking him out.
Lowry into the game for Marquette. Sitting early, Stevie Mitchell. They had for Mitchell, for Jones, for Joplin, the senior day ceremony before the game. And Rob, you and I have talked about it over the years. These senior day ceremonies can be tricky.
Yeah, it's always weird, especially for guys that you don't necessarily know what's coming next. You know, you don't know where your future lies in terms of basketball, and it can affect you in a positive way. It can go negative. Really, everybody is different.
But you see the guys out there before the game with their families, they get emotional. That can lead to good energy. Maybe that leads to swirling thoughts in your head, too. But these guys have been a tremendous class. Shaka Smart's first class. Yeah. This is his 4th year here, and they've been tremendously successful. Back door. Cut inside. A guy that doesn't play much there, the freshman from Greece, Lefteris Leotopoulos, gets fouled.
Nice cut. That ball's coming at you. St. John's runs a number of backdoor plays. Rick Pitino's got them in the arsenal. And with Marquette's pressure, what are the pressure releases going to be? It's going to be the dribble drive to the rim, and it's going to be looks for back cuts.
So Leotopoulos from Greece. This is a true roster of what you see in college basketball these days. They got Portugal, Nigeria, Ghana, South Sudan, New York, Texas. St. John's has everyone represented. Ben Gold, that was thrown behind him. Was it knocked out by St. John's? No, it's a turnover.
Boy, with Cam Jones on the bench right now, it's going to have to be David Joplin as the guy that initiates a lot of this offense. And And Marquette, this is not a winning formula here. 5 turnovers, that they've gotten beat on the offensive glass early. Those are things they've got to clean up.
And those 5 turnovers coming in their last 7 possessions.
Another back cut.
Fumbled out of bounds. They'll say that went off of Leotopoulos. Well, not a whole lot of fluidity here through 6.5 minutes.
It's been a grinder.
Maybe they heard it's your 36th birthday. Everyone was nervous to play in front of you, Rob. I know you have that effect on people.
I'm just trying to be like you, man.
Yeah.
I got to do about 75 less games a year to get there.
Not everyone can work every day, Rob. You're a special breed.
You're semi-retired.
Cam Jones back in there.
See if Lowry can kind of find the stroke. Had that big game against Villanova, 25, but only 5 points in the 3 cents.
Joplin down in the lane, and he's going to take the contact against Scott.
That's a great decision there by Joplin. And Ejiofor is a pretty good defender, even on the perimeter. But that closeout is there. You got to respect him as a shooter. It's a long run for Ejiofor, so you drive that closeout, and you put that on. The onus is on the officials to make a call. David Joplin making something happen off the bounce.
Big day for him. Not only a senior, but a guy who is from right here in Milwaukee. Played at Brookfield Central. 13 miles from where we sit right now. His family in attendance, his parents, Lisa and Howard Joplin. Rob, they never miss a game.
Amazing.
Home or road.
Unbelievable. Think about the cost and the expense of the trips, the long drives, the flights. But to support your son and get to see him live out his dream. Phenomenal stuff from the Joplin family.
Yeah, that was Lisa in the hat there.
Oh, Leotopoulos just walked.
18,000 agree with you. Over the top. Lewis collects. He's bumped. And they're going to say he stepped on the inline.
R.J. Lewis is saying he got shoved out of bounds, but I guess that's kind of the basketball gods. It should have been a travel for Leotopoulos. Here's more of the back cut stuff. You're just kind of cutting the score. You're going to find your way there. Lewis trying to tightrope that baseline, and unfortunately for him, steps right on it.
So Lewis will sit on the bench. He's been quiet so far. And between the two teams, 8 turnovers already. Jones driving on Ejiofor. That is a tough shot over Zuby Ejiofor.
Really well defended by Ejiofor there, but Cam Jones, he's so good at getting to that left hand. He's got the touch with that thing figured out.
1-point game. 12:30 left in the half, and that's an offensive foul. That's the second on Scott. 3 straight St. John's turnovers, and Rick Pitino can't be too happy.
Aaron Scott just not really coming to a jump stop. It's a little bit late, kind of a bang play. And the dribble handoffs have become dangerous because if you're not really coming set, and that's exactly what Rick Pitino is telling him right there, you're putting yourself at risk to be called for a moving screen.
So Scott, who was limited to just 3 minutes last weekend, sits. Jones misses a triple and a rebound to Richmond. Here comes R.J. Lewis. Hanging off balance, no, but a foul on the putback. And 2 free throws for the Johnnies.
R.J. Lewis, so dangerous in the open floor, leads the Big East in fast break points per game. So he's going to look to be aggressive. When he can get out and run, he's going to do it. How many times in the first 8 minutes of this game have we called Zuby Ejiofor's name? Just get it up there for him to chase it and go get it.
What a weapon to have this guy.
Man, he's a versatile defender. I mean, you can switch 5 ways with him. You can get out and hard hedge. Offensively, he's a load on the glass. He can score it around the rim. You can post him. He's become an incredibly good player.
And because of how good R.J. Lewis and Kadari Richmond have been, he's kind of the third name that pops in your head with St. John's. So he's probably going to be second-team all-conference, but certainly first-team deserved.
No question. Think about it. He left Kansas because Hunter Dickinson transferred into Lawrence. I mean, that's not that Hunter Dickinson's been bad, but Zuby Ejiofor is a weapon.
Yeah, it worked out for Rick Pitino and company, that's for certain. Royce Parham into the game, young freshman from Pittsburgh. Here's Jones, NBA range in the NBA arena to tie it at 13.
Just have to feel like with Cam Jones, Brandon, it's just a matter of time. We know he's a good shooter. He's been in a slump, but he's seen a couple go down today. Look out. Marquette did this a lot in the first meeting. They started 2-3, then they go man-to-man.
Chase Ross.
Oh!
Timeout, St. John's. .50 run for Marquette to go up 2. Let's go inside Shaka Smart's huddle.
We're not going to be deflated by them getting a couple rebounds. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to do what we do. You guys are guarding their ass. You're making them miss. Keep it up.
They certainly have. The problem has been Zuby Ejiofor, 6 rebounds, and 5 of them coming on the offensive end of the floor. Now the turnovers have been a little bit of a negating power here as Chase Ross gets out in the open floor. And how about the whole way on the windmill there? Impressive display of athleticism. We know the kind of athlete that Ross is, but we both said in the timeout, Brandon, weren't expecting that. That got the crowd fired up here at 11 a.m.
Well, between he and Stevie Mitchell, both of them top 5 in the conference in steals. So no surprise that he read the pass, took it the other way. But yeah, that windmill, that got 18,000 upstanding.
Well, how about for Marquette? I talked about how the turnovers can offset the rebounding, but both teams have 5 turnovers. The difference has been Marquette has cashed them in for 9 points. St. John's only 2. So certainly something to watch for in this game. If you want to track a stat, it's the rebounds and it's the turnovers.
Joplin just picked up his first foul. 5 team fouls on Marquette. Kadari Richmond bringing it up. He's quiet so far. Just 1 assist, hasn't scored. Poke free, Ejiofor tracks it. Here's Richmond, likely first team all-player as well, with a shot clock at 5. Spinning into traffic, kicks. Lewis blocked. What a play by Joplin.
Well, here we go again.
Another windmill? Just a lay-in.
But that's swarming pressure by Marquette, continuing to make the next play there. Get a piece of it, get out and get a run out.
7-0 run, but this is the problem. The fouls are mounting. They get one on Parham there.
The help defense so good on the Richmond drive. Joplin terrific on the closeout. Now Parham just looking up the floor. Maybe not as exciting as the play to break, but David Joplin will take that too as well.
You got greedy.
I was thinking dunk contest.
Can't have everything on your birthday, Rob. 15-footer off the mark. There's Lewis.
That's a man's rebound right there.
Look at him just fighting his way. That's a weight room bucket.
Oh, we're going right at Chase Ross. Jay Lewis just imposing his physicality on the game.
6'7", 215. It's strong. So that stops the run. Joplin using the pivot foot. Yes.
What the pass, though, from Cam Jones in a crowd. He finds David Joplin cutting already with that full head of steam going downhill. And then the ability with the footwork to just find an angle.
And knocked out, and it's Marquette basketball.
How many plays have we seen Stevie Mitchell make like that over the course of his career? You're behind the play, but you stay in it, you have active hands, and you knock that ball off the chest of Kadari Richmond.
I noticed, Rob, Stevie Mitchell started the game wearing a brace on his left shoulder, but he has taken that off.
Well, he's been hurt for his life, it seems like, and he just continues to tough it out.
He has battled everything. Tendinitis in both Achilles, shoulder injuries, but Shaka Smart says he's as tough as anybody he has coached, number 4 in blue. Jones, no. That's going to go against St. John's. Joplin got dislodged there.
He's going up for that rebound, and Ibinayo just undercut him.
And that's 2 on Ibinayo.
Not sure how much we'll say this today, but Marquette getting to the offensive boards. Ibinayo trying to block out, but as he leaves his feet, you can't just take him out like that underneath.
So Ibinayo to the bench. Again, keep in mind, no Davon Smith today. Out for St. John's. That was a pretty good look inside. Ruben Prey is out there, number 17 for St. John's, as Wiltshire misses. Outlet. Parham. Oh, he bobbled it. Collects and scores.
Pretty impressive gather there by the freshman. Great rim run on the floor. They're throwing it up there. He never has possession, but he gathers it, goes and scores it.
Shaka Smart slap of the floor, and they're on their feet in Milwaukee. Leotopoulos, short. Marquette right now trying to add to what is an 11-2 run.
How about that rotation there, too? This Marquette defense is flying around.
Well, I thought Joplin was putting that up. Parham skips. Mitchell. Lost his footing. Finds Ross. And a rebound coming down to Lewis.
He's been trying to find his jumper. Today he's impacted this game in transition, but just 2 of his last 10 from 3. There's Stevie Mitchell again.
His hands are lightning quick. Ross right down Broadway.
How fitting for Chase Ross that he's got this going in the open floor. 30% of his points come off fast breaks. That leads the Big East. He's changed this game by getting in the open floor and running.
Ruben Prey gets inside. Now Leotopoulos. No. Marquette. 13-2 run. Mitchell finding Parham. Everything but the finish. It will stay on this end as we head to the under 8 media timeout.
Well, it's been all about speeding the tempo. St. John's playing a little bit fast here. Marquette very willing to oblige. Active hands leading to the run out. How about Chase Ross getting it going in the open floor, getting to the rim.
Big East basketball is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Marquette rolling right now. Let's see what Rick Pitino has to say in his huddle.
Guys, they're beating you down the floor. We got 6 turnovers. You got to stop turning the ball over and pass the ball. You got to get open. So every time a guy picks up his dribble, there should be 2 guys getting open.
Actually, he was more calm than I thought he would be.
So, well, certainly the turnovers have been the problem here, and I think Marquette doing a better job in that 4-minute segment on the defensive glass, but you're just starting the break for a team that loves to force turnovers and needed a little bit of a jump start here. Early 11 a.m. start, senior day. Wasn't the prettiest start for Marquette on offense, but they've been able to get out, play with some tempo, and they found opportunities in the open floor.
11 of their 23 points for the Golden Eagles have come off of turnovers. And the other thing, you were alluding to it, they have rebounded better in the last 4 minutes.
Well, 10 second chance points for St. John's off of 7 offensive rebounds. But if you look at it at the 11:25 mark, they had 6 of those offensive rebounds. So over the course of those 4 minutes there, they only give up 1. A much better job by Marquette of clearing the glass, but also forcing some turnovers where St. John's just doesn't get a crack at it.
Now Ross having trouble. Dangerous.
I'll tell you, that's a lonely place as an inbounds passer.
That leads to this. Ejiofor powers it up and in.
Good amount of contact there, but Zuby Ejiofor just going right through it.
They needed it. Marquette went on a 15-2 run. See if St. John's can steady the ship here. Jones. And a rebound. Richmond had it and eventually gets it.
Gotta be careful around Stevie Mitchell. Even though he's only 6'4", he's a guy that will go to the offensive glass.
Richmond quiet so far. Maybe that'll jumpstart it.
They need more of that from Kadari Richmond. Loves that crossover dribble with that physicality and size. He lives in the paint.
Because without Smith, with Scott with a hamstring, their depth gets really small.
No question. Smith also a very good rebounder for his size.
Yeah, they're hoping they get him back quickly for the Big East tournament. Stepping on the sideline there, careless by Ross.
I think Shaka Smart wanted Cam Jones to let that thing fly. He's made a couple early on. He wants his best player putting him up.
Cam Jones, third best scorer in the conference at over 18 a game, but Marquette right now 7 turnovers. Here goes Richmond again, getting downhill and back-to-back buckets.
Well, Ejiofor, it's a little bit of that Gortat screen. He's just sealing off Ben Gold and sealing the way for Kadari Richmond, but the physicality of Richmond, he just puts it on Stevie Mitchell right there.
Gold can't connect. St. John's on a quick 6-0 spurt and a chance to add to it.
Stop turning the ball over.
Leotopoulos, 8-0 run.
It's been all about getting to the rim. Now, St. John's just putting on a clinic here these last 2 minutes of driving the basketball and making things happen off the bounce.
Those 8 points in less than 90 seconds for the Red Storm. Ross drives. High arcing off the window, counted and the foul.
Brandon, that happens because Cam Jones just slips out of that screen. There's some indecision from St. John's here. Look at the way Cam just kind of touches the hip there of Simeon Wilcher. Now you're undecided on what you need to do in pick and roll, and it just kind of leaves the void there. Ejiofor never impacts the basketball, and Chase Ross gets all the way to the rim.
Shaka Smart said before the season, Chase Ross, Jr. now, said first 2 years we knew he was great on defense. He said we feel like he's ready to make a leap on offense, and we're seeing that today.
No question. And over the course of this season, Chase Ross has been a real weapon for this Marquette team.
And they need it, right? Because there's so much reliance on Cam Jones.
Cam has so much of shouldering what they're doing on offense. That 2-3, but now matching up into man-to-man. Trying to show St. John some different looks.
Second foul on the freshman, Parham. Rick Pitino, fresh off his appearance on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon a couple of nights ago.
Well, I love what he said. I mean, he said, I've coached all these Final Four teams and all these teams that have won conference championships. We were never invited to the Tonight Show. It's because we play in New York City, in the greatest city in the world. But it's amazing that St. John's has been able to capture New York, because you've got Broadway and the Knicks and the Yankees, and there's just so much going on. But the city has been captivated by this team.
They went 9-0 at the Garden this year. That sellout last weekend when they beat Seton Hall to capture the crown. Really is one of the best stories in college basketball this year.
Well, when the Garden's going, there was some real juice in that place.
And imagine it for the Big East tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Wilcher, little jump step, but he got it taken away.
Ben Gold doing a nice job of coming over and helping there.
Cam Jones, 8 so far. Look at that. Well, he had the look, but he missed it. Ben Gold, corner 3. Joplin flying in.
Marquette just playing harder on this possession. Long rebounds, they're running them down.
Now they just can't get a bucket to drop.
Got 3 good looks.
They put up a lot of threes, 29 a game for Marquette. Inside, yeah, easy bucket for Ruben Prey.
Chase Ross gets caught ball watching, and Ruben Prey just cuts to the strong side of the floor. Prey only 7 points his last 9 games.
He's defending here, but it didn't work. Joplin buries a triple. Joplin and Jones, the 2 seniors on senior day, have combined for 20 of the 28. Ejiofor, he'll take that occasionally, and he knocks it down. Big fella.
He's made 40% of his threes, granted low volume over the last 5. If you're going to hard hedge, he will have opportunities to either catch and shoot or put that thing on the floor.
Ties the game at 28 all. This is kind of the game we expected here in Milwaukee. Ross almost had it taken away.
Got by Ruben Prey, just being where he needs to be in that help position.
Must be the cornrows. 3, shot clock at 2, and a rebound to Wilcher. You know, you should rock that hairdo for the postseason, Rob.
Change it up. I like what Ruben Prey's doing.
I do too. I think it could be a good look for you.
I'll take that into consideration here.
Please don't. Richmond, oh boy.
The look of his three versus his pull-up. It's kind of the hitch that he has from distance. It's tough to make shots with that.
And then a foul on Wilcher. And that's going to put Stevie Mitchell at the line when we get back to Milwaukee.
Marquette just trying to find their way. David Joplin has been a factor on the offensive end, continuing his hot play. How about Zuby Ejiofor, known for the offensive rebounding and interior play, stepping out and cashing out.
Rob Stone with you, and coming up on the Jeep Halftime Report, it's the third-ranked matchup this week from the SEC as Kentucky visits Mizzou. Arkansas on the right side of the bubble and hoping to keep it that way, and as Georgia playing their best ball at just the right time. Brandon, Robbie, we'll see you at the break.
All right, Rob, and we've got a dandy here in Milwaukee, 28 all. Some celebrities in the house, not just Robbie Hummel. Matt LaFleur, 6 years as the Packers head coach, is in the building as well. Yeah, he's got a GQ look going on.
He does.
I don't know that you can compete with that.
Well, he's trying to be like you, I think.
Yeah.
You know, you of course the designer ties and the Armani suits that you've got. Right.
Yeah, right.
I think you and Rick Pitino share a tailor, I believe.
How about, by the way, Rick Pitino, when he wears that white suit, which he had on last week against Seton Hall, it's a different look on the sideline. He means business.
He is a fashion beast, and he always has been. You know, if you look back to all those years, whether it's at Louisville or Kentucky, NBA, there's nobody dressed better than Rick Pitino.
3 free throws here for Mitchell out of the timeout. And that white suit, though, that Colonel Sanders look over there always looks good for Rick Pitino.
You got to have some swagger to pull that off.
You do. Pitino, by the way, with that win, not only did they win the regular season Big East crown, but he actually passed Dean Smith for 5th on the all-time wins list in Division I history. That's pretty incredible. Another feather in his cap.
It's amazing that just everywhere he goes, they win. But they play the right way. They play hard. They compete. They're in great shape. You know, he's talked a lot about the conditioning with the injuries they've dealt with, whether it's Kadari Richmond or Davon Smith, Aaron Scott. Throw R.J. Lewis into that mix as well. That with the lack of practice time, they haven't been as sharp. And I remember hearing through the grapevine as a player that treadmill is a real weapon for him in practice.
He makes those guys work.
Absolutely.
Pretty good defense there by Cam Jones. Does that concern you for St. John's, just the health of the team?
I just think,
now?
getting these guys healthy. Certainly Davon Smith is a big part of what they've been doing. Whether it's Kadari Richmond or R.J. Lewis, those guys' groin pulls are not fun to deal with.
Wilcher with a full head of steam right to the rack.
Boy, 50-50 ball. Simeon Wilcher runs it down and then makes a play in the open floor. St. John's taking over this game with points in the paint. Honestly, good to see Wilcher playing well.
Joplin off the shot fake. He almost traveled with it. Ben Gold. He has not been able to get anything to fall, and then a foul will send it the other way. That's on Joplin, his second.
You know, Ben Gold's shot profile over the last 5 games have been almost even 2s and 3s. And you look at today, 0 for 3 from the field, all 3 of them coming from the three-point line. He's been starting to drive the ball, find opportunities around the rim. I just think if you're living as a three-point shooter only, unless you're an elite knockdown shooter, there's going to be some stretches where you really fight your jumper. And Ben Gold on the year, 72% of his field goal attempts have come from 3.
And that's one thing that Shaka Smart said. We mentioned the reliance for the Marquette offense on Cam Jones. If we can get Ben as another option offensively, it really opens things up.
And they're kind of today searching for that 3rd and 4th score. Chase Ross has stepped up with some of these transition baskets. But Cam Jones is going to do it. David Joplin's been doing it. Who's going to be the 2 guys that come along with him?
Meanwhile, Vince Iwuchukwu transferred from USC. His first 2 points of the afternoon. I guess we can't say afternoon yet. It's only 11:49 here in Milwaukee.
Still the morning.
It's brunch time.
That alarm did go off early this morning, I'm sure, for these players as well.
But you got in the gym.
Hey, you know, I'm trying to match your fitness level. Ed as
Ed,
well.
Our stats man, Ed
totally.
Spida, was in there. He was curling 50s. It was really impressive.
The Breakfast Club. You know,
Yeah.
Michael Jordan would be impressed, I think.
Driving inside. Good pass. Wide open Lowry. But the threes are not falling.
Zay Lowry has shot it so much better in Big East play. That's a great look on that skip pass.
4 of 15 from deep for Marquette. Nice mid-range for Wilcher.
I'm telling you, Brandon, this could end up being, as long as you get Davon Smith back, a great thing for St. John's in the postseason. To get Simeon Wilcher some confidence, he's played a whale of the first half.
So is that guy, Cam Jones.
Rick Pitino not going to be happy with that defensive breakdown there, just letting Cam Jones get all the way to the rim.
He's in double figures with 10 inside of a minute here in the first half. Wilcher going to work again. Iwuchukwu lost it.
But he brought it down. That allows Stevie Mitchell to get his paws on that thing.
And Iwuchukwu's a big boy, 7'1". Lowry with a blow by.
They got the matchup with Ruben Pray, drive him to the rim. Zay Lowry not able to find the range this morning here from 3, but he puts that thing on the floor, makes something happen off the bounce. You got the mismatch, take advantage. Boy, we got a good one here in Milwaukee, all squared away.
All 34 seconds left on the clock here in what has been an entertaining first half between a pair of top 20 teams in St. John's and Marquette. Early on, with how St. John's was attacking the offensive glass, it looked like they might really seize control of this game. But Marquette, water has kind of found its level a little bit.
It looked like St. John's might outdo the plus 22 margin they had on the glass back on February 4th in the first meeting. But you're right, Marquette has kind of found its way on the glass. The turnovers certainly a storyline here. Both these teams getting it done in the paint.
St. John's coming in with that gaudy 26-4 record. And Marquette trying to get their 14th conference win of the season here. They'll put on a little full court press. They do get it into Ejiofor. It's got about a 3.5 second difference here, shot and game clock. Mitchell, one of the best defenders in the country, guarding Richmond. What a matchup this is. Let's see when Richmond starts to go. With 6 to shoot. Blows by and drops it off for Ejiofor. Up ahead, Ross at the horn. They're going to call a foul. So free throws coming for Chase Ross. Boy, they got that thing out of the hoop and up the court in a hurry.
What a sequence that was. The dribble drive from Kadari Richmond. I mean, just the physicality of that thing. Help comes over, drop it off. Zuby Ejiofor looking to tear the rim off it. And you're exactly right, Brandon. Marquette was not wasting any time. They touched that baseline. It's up the floor. Chase Ross looking like a wide receiver running a go route. Matt LaFleur may be interested.
He was a good football player in high school, was Chase Ross, down in Texas in the Dallas area. But he misses the first free throw. Grew up a big Dallas Cowboys fan, as you might imagine. Matt LaFleur wouldn't like that. Free throw goes down. And just a half a second here for St. John's. And they're not going to do anything with it. That was a fun first 20 minutes.
Sign us up for half number 2. You get plays in the open floor. St. John's certainly flexing their muscles on the offensive glass, but this game is going to be decided inside that painted area.
36-35, St. John's, the Big East regular season champs, trying to spoil Senior Day here in Milwaukee. Entertaining first half. St. John's by a penny as we take a look at the first half stats. Sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Talked a lot earlier about the rebounding, but Marquette, they rebounded much better over the last 12 minutes of that first half. And we got a 1-point game. Brandon Gaudin, Rolex Rob Hummel with you here from Fiserv Forum. Hey, Rob, listen. We said that was 20 minutes of basketball. It was a lot of fun to watch and kind of the game we expected.
No, it really was. And I think the offensive rebounding early for St. John's is what we thought could be a problem for this Marquette team. Zuby Ejiofor was terrific to start the game. The turnovers kind of got Marquette back into this one. Really entertaining first half. And we've got another 20 minutes. Sign us up.
Yeah, the rebounding edge, as we said, was in favor of St. John's early. Marquette weathered the storm, and turnovers certainly were also a story there in the first 20 minutes. Well, Cam Jones, David Joplin, they combined for 22. St. John's, though, you look at R.J. Lewis Jr. and Kadari Richmond, Rob, they combined for just 8 points.
Yeah, Kadari Richmond with four rebounds and 4 assists, so did affect the game in a number of ways. But R.J. Lewis, the way that he's been playing for his last 6 games with 20 or more, he's been terrific on offense. Very quiet that first half.
See if they can get them going in the second half. See if anybody can get a 3-pointer to drop. Ross on the offensive glass. How about Jones? No. And the other way, R.J. Lewis, well, right on cue, he lays it in.
That's not what you want to see for Shaka Smart right there. You let one of the best players in the country get their head up with an easy layup coming out of halftime there. Great run out there by R.J. Lewis, and that could certainly jumpstart his game.
Big East Player of the Year candidate. He's now got 6. Cam Jones, and he puts it in. He's got a dozen.
It's really amazing because you know it's coming. Cam Jones is going to get to your body. He's going to find a way back to his left hand. The scouting report says that, but it's a whole nother animal to stop it.
Double figures in 47 straight games for Cam Jones. That's the longest streak in the nation. Scott lines up a triple. Long rebound, though, offensive to Richmond. You got Ejiofor down. We got a lot of bodies on the deck here today. Another 3, and finally one drops, and R.J. Lewis is getting on track.
I love the move there by Zuby Ejiofor. That quick spin to the baseline so you can skip it across the floor, and after a layup, now you get a 3 to go, and R.J. Lewis, you're cooking with fire here.
Cam Jones, yes.
It's amazing that he's second in the Big East in points in the paint. He's 6'5". You know, he's not like a guy that you expect that from a guy like Ejiofor or R.J. Lewis or even Kadari Richmond, but Cam Jones knows how to score that ball around the rim.
Stevie Mitchell is going to be whistled for his first foul.
I like the inverted ball screen there, though. Richmond setting it for Ejiofor, and Zuby Ejiofor with the ability to put it on the floor.
So 2 free throws for Zuby Ejiofor. Think about all these guys on the floor that have resumes of being all-conference players between Ejiofor, Jones. We talked about R.J. Lewis and Kadari Richmond. It's going to be tough to see who gets, as far as the voting goes, for Big East Player of the Year. But if you're R.J. Lewis Jr., you're the best player on the best team.
I think
that's usually who it goes.
He's had such a good year, and in the biggest games, he stepped up and played like an MVP of the league.
Hard to believe, though, St. John's has not had a Big East Player of the Year since Walter Berry. You have to go back to 1986. But that drought could end here this week. Gold knocks down a triple.
He's been cold in the first half, but again, Marquette has found success when they have played with tempo. You break the press, you're not just breaking it to break it, you're breaking it to score.
Here is Lewis. Nice pass. Rejected out of bounds with 13 to shoot.
That Marquette defense has been swarming all afternoon. You're surrounding Zuby Ejiofor, and that block from behind. There's Chase Ross. Terrific pass. Find the shooter in the corner. And Ben Gold has been shooting it so well these last 5 games. Cold today, but it's a nice play from Ross to set the table.
5 to shoot for Richmond. Good kick out. There's Scott. Off the side of the iron.
Look at Lewis just fighting for that thing, keeping it alive. Everything but the bucket for St. John's.
Yeah, Richmond had a great look right at the rim. Now here's Stevie Mitchell. Boy, this is a physical game today.
You better be ready to bring it, because if you don't, you can get punked in a game like this.
Ejiofor hit one in the first half, but that one deadens off the back of the iron, and then a whistle. More bodies going down to the deck.
We're going to get Ben Gold.
That's his second.
Well, credit Aaron Scott for going to the glass. It's not like he's got the body of Ejiofor or Lewis, but he's a willing offensive rebounder as well. But the plays like that don't happen if you don't go.
Scott, mid-range jumper good for Aaron Scott.
They run a lot of stuff under out of bounds for Aaron Scott. Off screens to the corner there for the mid-range. You don't lock and trail. He's very effective in that action.
It was that left hamstring that was bothering him last game. Only played 3 minutes, but he's looked pretty good out here today, moving around. Blow by Jones. No, Gold taps it back.
How about Ben Gold just hanging there and waiting on that thing, not touching it before it's off the rim. Help comes over. There's nobody to crack back on the big offensive rebounding.
This is turning into a fun seesaw battle here at Fiserv Forum. Lewis bumps into Gold.
RJ Lewis and Kadari Richmond seeking out physicality, and you're not going to find two players that are more physical than those two.
And a foul on the rebound, and that's going to go against St. John's. That is the third on the senior from Spring, Texas, Aaron Scott. So Scott will sit here with still 16-12 remaining. Jones so good at using that pivot foot, kicks it out to Joplin.
Well done by St. John's. Joplin was screening his own man and trying to find a pathway for Cam Jones there.
Now Joplin needs some help. Jones.
He's tightrope in that half-court line.
He's going to have to hoist this thing. And he airballs it for a shot clock violation. Pretty good defensive sequence there for the Red Storm. Timeout on the floor. Back and forth, and right now, all even. Today's game summary sponsored by Progressive. Get slam dunk savings today. 8 ties, 5 lead changes, and it doesn't get much more even than both teams 17 of 41 from the floor.
Both teams also just playing so hard. You know, the energy exerted by both these clubs here. It's been a great game to watch. Two competitive teams, so much on the line to play for in terms of seeding. And yes, the Big East race has been decided. St. John's with a 3-game lead in the standings. But when you're talking about solidifying your place in the Big East tournament for Marquette or even NCAA tournament implications, there's a lot to play for both these groups.
You talk to people around the St. John's program, Rob, they said you would have never known that they had wrapped up the Big East regular season crown watching them in practice this week, because Rick Pitino said, no, this game means something today.
Well, he's thinking about that 2 seed. That's where Mike DeCourcy has them right now. Other places have them at a 3, so you think about getting another quad 1 win, the opportunities in the Big East tournament. You know, a 1 seed probably is out of the reach, you'd think. Maybe if they sweep out the rest of the year, but they'd love to be a 2. That'd give them a great chance. And then you think about location-wise, too, playing close to New York City.
Yeah, could do that all the way through to the Final Four, potentially. Nice bucket there at the rim to put St. John's back on top.
Simeon Wilcher has been terrific today. It's kind of the silver lining of not having Davon Smith.
And here's Kadari Richmond the other way with a 2-handed flush.
Shooting through that passing lane there. Kadari Richmond, defense creating a little offense.
That's the thing you forget about with him. Yes, he can score it, he can rebound it, he can assist it. He's also a great defender.
Him and RJ Lewis. Both those guys will guard.
Of course, it's hard to play for Rick Pitino without that in your DNA. Cam Jones surveying.
How about Ejiofor switching that and taking everything away?
Joplin kicks out. Jones in rhythm. Book it.
But then you get lost, and sometimes that does happen with bigs. They're so used to hovering in that paint. You've got to stay with Cam Jones.
Jones now has 17 to lead all scorers here on his senior day. Lewis, left-hand swing pass. Lewis now for the elbow. Front iron. Rebound Joplin.
With Ejiofor down there, it's just survival on the defensive glass.
Such an incredible force is Zuby Ejiofor. Little floater, no. Tap back, and Parham had a pretty good look at it there that last time, but just short-armed it. It will stay with Marquette.
It's one where you got to use the glass. You try to go all net, you can get that little alligator arm where you're just shuffling it up there.
You're going to see a lot more from number 13 next year because Marquette losing some key pieces certainly this season with those seniors. That's almost a 5-second call.
There's been some dicey under inbounds passes for that inbounder. Marquette taking their time.
Jones looking to go to work again. Wow. He is so crafty.
He still ends up using that left, but the footwork there to step through. And if you jump stop, you give yourself options. Cam Jones going on a little mini run himself here.
Putting Marquette back in front. Here comes the crowd at Fiserv Forum. Richmond, jump stop. No, Ejiofor back up and fouled by Joplin. That was evidence of the strength of St. John's, both on the drive and the rebound.
Kadari Richmond, I mean, just going right at Parham, and then Zuby Ejiofor doing what he does best, creating second chance opportunities. The physicality and the effort level that St. John's plays with, man, it jumps off the page at you.
It's the third foul on Parham. Yeah, you noted it. Richmond and Lewis just watching their physicality when they drive, seeing it in person, it's pretty impressive.
They're seeking it out. You know, they are certainly delivering the first blow. I think with Ejiofor, you could make that case as well. The surprising thing for me about Zuby Ejiofor is he only has 8 double-doubles. Because of the way he rebounds the ball, and he's certainly done the part in scoring. 5 straight games in double figures. Last 5, he's averaging 15 a game.
But over half of his rebounds come on the offensive end.
It's amazing. And he gets a little bit cannibalized because Kadari Richmond and RJ Lewis are both guys that can rebound on the defensive end as well.
He is 1 rebound away from another double-double right now is Zuby Ejiofor. Stevie Mitchell inside. Can't get the reverse. But he does get the rebound. Now the shot never hit the rim. They got to put this up quick, but it's taken away.
They had Ben goal on the perimeter.
Leotopoulos, yes, as he falls to the ground.
One of those sequences where it could go either way. Instead, it's a turnover, and it leads to a run out. St. John's capitalizing there off that missed pass.
Leotopoulos, 6 points. He only scored 17 all season coming into today.
Taking advantage of the opportunity with Davon Smith out. He's gotten more minutes, and it's not an easy finish. Cam Jones going vertical to contest, and Leotopoulos impressively getting it done in transition.
Played for Greece's U18 national team last year, now a freshman for St. John's. Three-pointer drops down for Cam Jones, and he's got 20.
You can't switch back. I know what Cam Jones' percentage says, but he's made enough today. You got to know better. RJ Lewis, if you're going to switch it, you got to switch it up to take away the jumper.
There's Leotopoulos again. 15-footer. No, Gold secures it. Cam Jones has Marquette's last 8. Let's see if he wants more here. He does. Whoa! Well, he's going to get the bucket. They're going to call that goaltending. And that puts Marquette in front. Timeout on the floor. Big East basketball is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Sold out Fiserv Forum, Marquette by a pair. Let's listen back in to Shaka Smart's huddle.
Hey, fellas. Repeat after me. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it.
He's getting his guys to believe over there right now.
And he's got Cam Jones rolling. That certainly goes a long way in helping you win a game like this. But Jones with 24 points already, 14 of those coming here in the second half, has been so efficient after the break. 6 of 10 from the field, has knocked down 2 triples after halftime. He's got Marquette's last 10 points. We know how explosive of a scorer he is over the last 2 seasons, but doing it against a defense like St. John's, the second best defense in college basketball, really impressive second half by a guy that's a lock to be first team all Big East.
But even when he's not scoring, Shaka Smart said he pulls the defense toward him as much as any player I have coached.
No, the gravity that he plays with, the amount of pick and rolls, the high usage that he has, his ability to score it at the rim. That 3-point percentage has trailed off. He's not shot it well in Big East play from 3. It's been a different story here today. He's knocked down 4 threes in this ball game. Cam Jones is one of the elite players in college basketball.
Senior from Memphis, Tennessee, his final game here in front of these folks at Fiserv Forum. Busy day here, by the way, tonight at 7 o'clock. The Bucks, who this is their home arena, will play the Orlando Magic. Leotopoulos rolls off. There's R.J. Lewis. And then a foul on Chase Ross.
Much like in the first half, the initial shot defense has been fine. It's about closing down possessions. Cam Jones going removed. Leotopoulos getting an open look. And what a play by R.J. Lewis. Tipping that thing, keeping it alive, and then taking it right to the rim.
Second year at St. John's after his freshman season at UMass. And he knocks down the first.
Well, he and Zuby Ejiofor are just terrific examples of player development. And yeah, you went to the portal. Davon Smith's a big get. Kadari Richmond's a good get, or great get, really. But the way that these guys have improved from within, it's been pretty impressive stuff to see. Their numbers last year and the way they played, and now you see them this season and their stars.
And last year, Lewis really battled shin splints in both legs. He had surgery in both legs in the offseason. Said he feels healthy for the first time in 3 years, and it is showing. Jones, step back. Look at Mitchell. Oh.
You got to block out Stevie Mitchell. He's 12th in the league in offensive rebounds per game, but every player above him is 6'6" or taller. He's the best rebounding guard in this conference.
Way too much from Richmond. He got it back. Leotopoulos saved a turnover. Richmond skip pass. Scott, step back. Yes, they say foot on the line. A 2 for Aaron Scott.
Shot clock winding down. Aaron Scott's got to make something happen. That's a tough basket right there. Big time shot from Scott.
Now Gold gets an open look and cashes in.
2 on the ball with Cam Jones. There's got to be somebody open. It's Ben Gold picking and popping.
Good second half for Ben Gold. Marquette back on top.
Gold really struggled in that first half, but he's turned it around after the break.
Lewis, all of a sudden the 3-pointers for both sides dropping.
Get a paint touch and spray it out. R.J. Lewis has been so much more aggressive here in this second half.
Jones with the right.
That has missed some opportunities at the rim here. You don't see Cam Jones miss shots like that very often.
They're going to keep the ball here.
There's that pick and pop. Looks like a miscommunication. Ejiofor and R.J. Lewis just not on the same page. You got to help on the dribble drive of Kadari Richmond. You'd stop the basketball. And with St. John's the way they've shot it, it's probably the play. But you don't want R.J. Lewis shooting open catch-and-shoot threes.
Ben Gold after that last 3. Gosh, he and Cam Jones have scored all 22 this half for Marquette. And here's Jones again. And here's Gold again. Driving and drawing the contact. Rob, you noted it earlier.
Yeah, he's done that so much better here over these last 5 games. He's just made a concerted effort, and it helps so much when you see a couple go down, because it changes the defender's mindset. Zuby Ejiofor just saw him pick and pop and make a 3. So now you're thinking, well, I got to take him out of rhythm. I got to take away that 3-point line. And now as an offensive player, if you can make 3s, you can be a driver too, because they're going to take that away, and now you put it on the floor.
Also 3 fouls on Ejiofor with still almost 10 minutes to go, so he's going to sit. Iwuchukwu returns. With this recent production surge, Shaka Smart says Ben Gold is starting to believe in himself, but he misses the free throw.
Man,
gosh, how about Chase Ross? Keeps the possession for the Golden Eagles. Now Mitchell, 8-7, Ross driving, hanging, and he will eventually get to the line. Took a pretty good shot as well.
Helter-skelter possession there. I mean, you got multiple times where that could have been a St. John turnover going the other way. Chase Ross getting to the rim and kind of paying the price there.
This is another thing Shaka Smart credited Chase Ross with, getting to the line. Far more free throws attempted this year than his first 2 seasons in that uniform combined, but he misses the first. Marquette just 6 of 12 at the line. They've left some points out there.
Along with the layups that they've missed here as of late. There definitely are points on the table.
Iwuchukwu, good cut indeed. Wilcher, he continues to have a great game.
St. John's very willing to back cut with the Marquette pressure. If you want to take away Wilcher coming off the handoff, then you just burn it to the rim. Good offense.
13 now for Wilcher. He averages 8. Jones falling out of bounds, somehow finds Joplin. He's just going to hoist it. Short. Rebound to Lewis. Lewis behind the back, in the lane, draws the foul.
How did he corral that behind the back?
And how did he get it up on the rim?
Unbelievable strength there. Jay Lewis is a tank in the open court. Look at the way he just tracks this thing down. He throws it out there, finds it. There's so much contact there. R.J. Lewis forcing the issue on Marquette.
Well, last weekend at the Garden, they gave him the option, Rob, to go through the senior day ceremony. He's just a junior. He did not go through it. Will test the NBA waters. And look, Rick Pitino was up front about it. He said if he can be a first rounder, he should go.
Totally. But if you get a guy like that back, and Ejiofor, a junior, those are some pretty impressive building blocks to build around.
He's having a big second half as R.J. Lewis Jr. He's got 15, but 11 of those since intermission. Here's that pressure. Jones trapped, but finds his way out of it. Ross, wow, my, but he blew a tire on the way up. They will keep it. He was going up with bad intentions.
The flash. Cam Jones was in a tough spot there on the baseline in that press. Chase Ross made himself available. There it is. Now it's off to the races. Marquette's done a nice job of when they've been pressed, they've looked to score it. And another missed opportunity at the rim for the Golden Eagles.
And that is a 5-second call. They've been flirting with that a lot this ball game.
St. John's has done a great job on under out of bounds of making it tough to see anybody with that guy on the ball and then just taking everything away off it.
Simeon Wilcher kicks it out. Scott offline. Look at another offensive rebound by Lewis. but an offensive foul on R.J. Lewis. Now, he's pleading his case that Ross did a flop there, but he's not going to win that argument.
Still having that conversation there with James Breeding. Offensive rebound, you see it so often. You lower the shoulder, a little bit of a discard there.
What do you think, Chase Ross and Emmy? Or?
Yeah, I think there's certainly some acting there. But Lewis has got to be more understanding. If you lower that shoulder, you're putting yourself really at risk.
Inside of 8 minutes to go on the final day of the regular season in the Big East.
St. John's is starting to sit on some of those pick and pops, and it's an opportunity to force a turnover and go the other way.
Foul on R.J. Lewis Jr. Two sides go to their benches in what has been a heavyweight prize fight here this afternoon. Fox College Hoops is sponsored by Panera. Come enjoy our comforting classics or discover a new Panera favorite. It's been a dandy today in Milwaukee. Let's listen to the Hall of Famer Rick Pitino.
So look, guys, the ref made a bad call. So what? You got to get the stop of the next play. Guys, you're letting him go downhill on you. Take it away and load up. Stop fighting each other on rebounds. Say, I got it. Your three guys are fighting the ball.
Well, when you got three guys that are all really good rebounders and looking for their numbers, that's easier said than done right there. But I think the message of the next play is the right one. When you get that charge called on R.J. Lewis, it's got to be about the next play. It's about stopping Cam Jones. It's about being together as a defensive unit, which is something that St. John's has been unbelievable at all year long.
Neither team has led by more than 4 this half. We've had 11 ties, 11 lead changes, really everything you would want from St. John's and Marquette today. Brandon Gaudin, the newly minted 36-year-old Robbie Hummel here at Fiserv Forum, and we are set for a dandy final 7:47. This guy has been the man. 24 points today for Jones. Correction, 26 points for Cam Jones.
You could just see the indecision there with Simeon Wilcher and Vince Iwuchukwu. They're just not on the same page. And Cam Jones, you cannot let him straight line to the rim.
Stevie Mitchell almost got one.
What a hustle by Kadari Richmond there.
That was almost over and back as well. Gosh, what helter-skelter play, but ultimately it's going to end with the Johnnies in the line.
But those are 50-50 plays that win you big-time college basketball games, and Kadari Richmond somehow comes up with this. Makes a play on the ball. That was incredible hustle there. You pass it to Iwuchukwu, and now you've got R.J. Lewis getting to the rim, putting pressure on that Marquette defense.
St. John's now 13 of 16 at the line, and Rick Pitino said, so many people are talking about our three-point shooting. He said, for me, I want to see us be a better free throw shooting team going into the tournament.
Yeah, looking to put away games, and they've won a lot of close games this year. Their losses have been close. They played in a ton of close games, period. Somebody outside of the big two in this second half for Marquette, the big two being Cam Jones and Ben Gold with the ball right now, has got to make a play on offense. They're the only two guys that have scored.
Yeah, they've got all 25. Now Gold is fouled here. They're going to get that on Aaron Scott, and that is the 4th on the senior Aaron Scott. And now it's going to be 1-1 the rest of the way for both teams. But do you agree with Rick Pitino's assessment that he basically said, hey, look, yeah, we're going to have to hit some threes in the tournament, but free throws are what are going to make or break us?
Because the three-point line, it's all about the volume of shots that St. John's is getting and forcing turnovers and getting second chance opportunities because they're so good on the offensive glass. You know, whether the threes are going or not, you have so many opportunities to get it back and score again. You live with whatever happens. You just can't turn it over, and then if you do go to the line, you know, it's deflating to get there and not make them. So I totally agree with him.
Well, today St. John's is hit well at the line, and that time Gold gets 2 for Marquette. Good cut by Lewis. Lewis, and what a reverse by Lewis.
Found a way there off the press to get R.J. Lewis. Terrific cut on the baseline. What a finish. And again, St. John's attacking that pressure to get a bucket, not just to break the press.
Wow, what a sequence. And you look up and Lewis is doing it again. 19 and 7 today. Gold, too much. Outlet for Wilcher. Simeon Wilcher kicks to the corner, gets it back, and they'll reset. Kadari Richmond, the kid from Brooklyn, passes inside. Iwu Chukwu off the window.
The read there by Kadari Richmond. You got that hedge coming out to take it away, but he found the roll man. Breakdown in transition defense, and you just don't see St. John's, an elite defensive unit, make mistakes like that all that often.
Well, St. John's had their largest lead of the game for about 4 seconds. Now we're back to 4 points. Wilcher trying to blow by Gold. Now he is going to draw the bump against number 12. That's the 3rd foul on him.
This finish by R.J. Lewis is high-level stuff here on the baseline. Ben Gold's coming to block it, duck it under, use the glass, get to the other side. Reverse layup is impressive stuff, high-level stuff. R.J. Lewis has had quite the second half.
Kadari Richmond, that's the last thing St. John's needs right now. Some discomfort in that thumb. Missing the front end, Wilcher. Going back to what Rick Pitino was talking about at the free throw line, something his team has struggled with this year, under 70%. Joplin attacks, stops, fades, yes.
It takes some really good balance there from David Joplin. You're getting the switch right there. Wilcher's taking you on, and you're just getting some physicality, and then the balance there to stay there and stay in that shot.
And Rick Pitino is going to take a timeout. This is a gem, folks. St. John's, Marquette. Next stop, the Garden. Don't go anywhere. Fox Sports proud to present a new postseason tournament, the College Basketball Crown. 16 teams from the top leagues putting it all on the line this March in Vegas, exclusively on Fox and FS1. You can get your tickets in the Vivid Seats app or at vividseats.com. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. We're going to see who gets to wear that crown out in Vegas. 68-66, St. John's on top by 2. All right, so St. John's, they turn away from Mike Anderson. They bring in the legend, Rick Pitino. First year last season, 20 wins. Their first 20-win season since 2019. They get the transfers, including Kadari Richmond. And this year, 26-4. First Big East regular season outright title since 1985. And Rick Pitino said, Rob, especially over the last 2 games against Butler and then against Seton Hall, he said, I could feel the pressure wearing on our guys because we haven't been there in so long.
No doubt. And you look at the crowd at Madison Square Garden, it's a sellout, all the attention you're getting, but it is a great test run. And they found ways to win some close games, but it's a great test run for the Big East tournament where it ramps up and the NCAA tournament where it's going to ramp up even more. You have to think for a team that's very new together, going through that experience was very important.
That's the other thing he said about the pressure. He said, okay, so round 1 of pressure, that's over. We won the regular season tournament. But this is a program in St. John's that hasn't won an NCAA tournament game since 2004. So they're going to feel that pressure.
No question. But that's why you come to a place like this to play for Rick Pitino and play at Madison Square Garden. I mean, that's the pressure you want. It's just about getting comfortable with it and getting used to it.
More pressure on the road here today against Marquette. Richmond with the left inside, no, blocked. But then there's Ejiofor, and he will get to the line.
Ben Gold is trying everything to keep Zuby Ejiofor off the offensive boards, and Ejiofor just going to win that physical matchup most times.
With that board, Ejiofor now does have his 9th double-double of the season. And of his 10 rebounds, 7 of them on the offensive glass for Zuby Ejiofor.
Gives him 31 offensive rebounds in the last 6 games.
That's a ridiculous number.
Totally is.
Those are Robbie Hummel numbers back at Purdue.
Yeah, I wish.
That's right, you floated around the arc.
that's a fact.
3-point game as we hit the 5-minute mark. Cam Jones going to work against Ejiofor. Kicks it out. Here's Joplin.
They left him.
Yeah, he didn't realize it. Oh, a rainbow triple to tie it.
Well, we asked the question, Brandon, will there be any help alongside Gold and Cam Jones? And David Joplin has answered that call.
Joplin has 19. Wilcher leaves it short. Joplin has the board on the run out. Drops it off.
Block.
Boy, wow, was that Lewis that got his hand on that? Might have been Wilcher. Either way, it's going back to St. John's.
I think it was Simeon Wilcher that made that play. David Joplin could have finished it 2-on-1. Yeah, it was Wilcher. What a play right there to take on the ball, make him give it up, and then still get a piece of the Stevie Mitchell layup.
All around, this may be Wilcher's best game of the season.
It's a real silver lining. If you get Smith back healthy and you keep Simeon Wilcher playing like this, just another guy add into the mix of guys that can hurt you.
Sophomore from Plainfield, Jersey. Ejiofor kicks it up. Here's Scott. Barely grazes the iron. Everybody in this building right now is standing. We still have almost 4 minutes to go. Jones, runner, yes!
How did he get that to go? And it looks like Zuby Ejiofor kind of has the same look on his face. Man, he's right there to contest that shot. But Cam Jones, so good with that left, puts the perfect amount of English on it and somehow hooks this in.
Media timeout, our final one. Let's get another look at it, Rob.
Oh, he's right there, step for step. It's almost a block shot, but instead, it's a made Cam Jones bucket.
Come Wednesday, Liam McNeely should become the 7th overall and 2nd straight Husky to be named Big East Freshman of the Year. But first, he has a revenge meeting with Seton Hall. Huskies and Pirates next. But first, back to a good one in Milwaukee. Brandon and Robbie.
Rob, it is fantastic here at Fiserv Forum. Right now, Marquette by 2. We've had 12 ties, 12 lead changes. But you look at the standings. Okay, so you know St. John's is going to be the 1 seed. Marquette likely going to play Xavier in that 4-5 game. If Seton Hall could somehow beat UConn, there's a chance that Marquette could bump up to a 3 seed. But right now, St. John's and Marquette, you could see a rematch in the semis.
Well, and think about just that quarterfinal Friday. I mean, that's just going to be phenomenal basketball at the world's most famous arena. Nothing better than the Big East tournament. The juice that place has for that, it's next level.
And St. John's going there with their best regular season in almost 4 decades. Will they have one more win on their resume to get to 27-4? What are you watching here, Rob, in the final 3:36?
I think you have to watch the stars. Cam Jones has come to play, 28 points here. David Joplin has been a good complimentary piece with 19. Kadari Richmond, you look at the rebounds and the assists. He's got 10 rebounds and 8 assists. Hasn't shot the ball great, only 6 points. And RJ Lewis has stepped it up here in the second half. He's got 19. But the glass still continues to be the story. And give Marquette a lot of credit. Out-rebounded by 22 in the first game. They've actually out-rebounded St. John's in this one by 1 and have 1 more offensive rebound. They've done their jobs on the glass.
And they're on a 9-1 run, and their crowd rising to its feet again. Wilcher. Kicks out, dangerous. He got to Richmond. He missed it. Offensive board, Lewis. Dangerous pass again, but somehow it finds its target. Scott, foot on the line, and we are tied at 71.
gamble there from Joplin when you don't get it, and he got himself back into the play, but if you miss on the gamble, it leads to an open shot, and credit Aaron Scott for stepping up and making a big one.
And he has struggled from the field today, has Scott. Just 1 of 6 from downtown.
I assume they're going to look at this to see if it's a 2 or a 3.
That is exactly right. Oh yeah, foot on the line, 2-pointer. Our crew, James Breeding, Matt Potter, Nathan Farrell, just confirming what they called on the floor. And they do. So make it now 13 ties to go along with our 12 lead changes in this fantastic afternoon of basketball here in Milwaukee.
Remember for Marquette, 1-4 against the trio of St. John's, Creighton, and UConn this year. The top teams in the Big East. Outside of the Creighton win at home, it's been a bit of a struggle, so an opportunity. Tie ball game 3 to play here. Be one of their bigger wins of the season.
Yeah, they started out Marquette 6-0 in the league with a little bit of a softer schedule, 7-6 since. This would be big, no doubt. Jones looking for 30 points, in and out. Still battling, and it comes to Scott.
Credit R.J. Lewis for hanging in there. Cam Jones kind of had to reestablish that, had to cock it back and hang in the air for a long time. A tough shot.
Kadari Richmond, oh my goodness, careening his way inside, and he follows it up.
Boy, and the physicality knocks Ben Gold back so far that Kadari Richmond's in the perfect spot for the offensive rebound putback.
St. John's back in front as we approach 2 minutes. Nobody in this building will sit, and you love to see it. This is Big East basketball, folks. Kicking out, Gold, extra pass to Mitchell. Baseline drive, contact, and a foul on Wiltshire.
That ball moving here. You get St. John's in rotation. Kadari Richmond flying by him to take away the 3. Stevie Mitchell making something happen off the dribble drive.
The senior from Reading, Pennsylvania, who Shaka Smart is routinely called the heart and soul of our defense. 5th in steals in Marquette history. And the final home game today for he and Cam Jones and David Joplin. Missed the second, and Lewis grabs it.
Marquette really has not been good from the free throw line today. 9 of 16.
That one's short, long rebound. Look at Cam Jones getting on the deck.
That should have been an offensive rebound for St. John's. What an effort by Cam Jones to pry that thing away.
Shaka Smart is going to take a timeout here with just 88 seconds remaining in regulation. We've had a lot of these crazy sequences today.
Well, St. John's continues to really flex their muscles there, and it looks like it can just be one of those where you pick it up and they've got it, but Cam Jones flying in. Winning play.
Each team with 2 timeouts, both teams with 8 fouls, so still the single bonus for both St. John's and Marquette. And Cam Jones really was the one that got Marquette the ball there. What a senior day he has had. 28 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and he hasn't come off the floor. He also, Cam Jones, is 12 points away from becoming the 2nd leading scorer in Marquette history behind Marcus Howard. It has just been such an incredible career for Mr. Jones. Ross will initiate, and Jones comes to grab it.
They're going to look to get Cam Jones off this pick and roll into the paint for him to make a play for himself or somebody else.
Right now it's himself. Oh, he throws it away. Richmond stole it. And then he's fouled in transition by Stevie Mitchell.
Well, Kadari Richmond just sitting on this thing here. Cam Jones with a bit of a sloppy play, just throws it right to him. And now Richmond able to draw this contact and some big free throws coming up.
We discussed Stevie Mitchell's defense. He and Richmond, who got the steal there, they are 2 of the 15 finalists for the National Defensive Player of the Year award. But Richmond misses the front end. Look at Gold on the floor. Now Jones down there. And a timeout is going to be granted to Marquette.
The St. John's bench is adamant that there was no possession there. That's what Rick Pitino is talking about with James Breeding. It's such a battle every time the shot goes up here. You are fighting for your lives with St. John's, and the question would be, you know, Stevie Mitchell's calling it, but St. John's is right in there. That's a tough angle to tell.
And both officials looked at each other to see, okay, did we get a timeout here? Is there a jump ball? But ultimately they give Marquette the timeout. They have 1 remaining.
Boy, that's a tough one for St. John's. And it's hard. We really can't sync up where the call is versus where it's being, you know, the timeout's being called.
Well, they'll take a look at this sequence over at the monitor.
And the possession arrow is with St. John's, so had this been a tie-up, it would have stayed right here.
Well, you cannot change the fact that you granted a timeout, so not entirely sure what they were looking at. Maybe they thought someone got grabbed or pushed. Maybe they're just getting the shot clock correct. Yeah, but Rick Pitino, I understand why he's upset.
Absolutely.
Well, we've gotten our money's worth today.
Yeah, this game has lived up to the billing. The best players have played like it, down to the wire. St. John's physicality. This is the first time I've seen it in person, and you're like, man. But the size of some of their, I mean, Kadari Richmond is huge. And then you got Aaron Scott out there, edge of 4, R.J. Lewis. Really impressive team and impressive season. Ben Gold, man, he just wiped out R.J. Lewis.
There have been so many bodies on the deck, and now Lewis is limping a little bit. See his frustration.
Maybe a little knee to knee.
Yeah, I think you're right. And now he's got to defend Cam Jones.
They got the pick and pop.
There's Gold. Knocked out. It stays here with 48 seconds to play.
Kadari Richmond just couldn't secure the rebound. Boy, Ben Gold got a wide open shot. And that's the gravity that you kind of mentioned. Shaka Smart talked about it. Cam Jones is drawing so much attention.
R.J. Lewis still kind of limping a little bit after banging knees with Ben Gold. That was right there.
That is as illegal of a screen as you can set. Gold is incredibly fortunate.
Well, maybe that's why he missed the 3. The ball don't lie, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
So in these situations, do you go back to what you do? You get Jones, let him operate?
You're going to let your best player go to work. And if it's make a play for himself, so be it. If it's make a play for somebody else, he'll take what the defense gives him. And you had the turnover where Kadari Richmond got the steal. It didn't end up hurting you because he misses the free throw. But they're going to put the ball in his hands.
The officials are also back at the monitor.
For St. John's here, you've got to be shoring up your pick and roll coverage because you're going to see it. We've seen a couple times the breakdowns of miscommunications, and that can't happen on this possession.
Tell you what, St. John's is used to close games, whether they have won or lost this year. So many of their games have been nail biters. They've kind of been the cardiac kids of Queens, and they're at it again here today. But their 4 losses by a combined 7 points this year. You can tell R.J. Lewis is a little uncomfortable.
They've been the walking wounded. That's what's made this even more impressive. I mean, 26-4 with the injuries they've had to Davon Smith and Kadari Richmond and R.J. Lewis, Aaron Scott. They've just found their way through it.
What a job Rick Pitino has done in his 35th year as a Division I head coach. What a finish we're set up for here. 20 on the shot clock, 48 to play. Cam Jones has 28 points today. He wants to drive it on Ejiofor and give him 30.
How about the way he snuck that up? Like he just kind of put it underneath the armpit of Ejiofor. Such a good finish there by Cam Jones.
Marquette back in front by a penny. Ejiofor lost it. A turnover by St. John's. And Rick Pitino is going to take a timeout.
Well, Cam Jones with the matchup with Ejiofor, and look at how he just sneaks that up there. That is a tough one around the rim. Just kind of fillets it up and lets the English do the rest. Zuby Ejiofor on the dribble drive, losing that out of bounds.
Wow. And for Cam Jones, the last look that these fans in Milwaukee will get at him at Fiserv Forum, and he's leaving them with a lasting impression.
I think for St. John's, it's that next play mentality that Rick Pitino talked about. You're only down one. Now, certainly you're going to dial up your pressure here, but Cam Jones in this second half has been outstanding. He's now got 30, has knocked down 4 threes, also has 9 rebounds and 5 assists. Has done so much. The gravity on offense that he has. He's making plays left and right and pick and roll, getting to the rim. The three-point shot has been there today. Cam Jones has played like an All-American.
Kid from Memphis, his dad Kevin was an Air Force Master Sergeant, said his dad taught him the game, taught him discipline, and I would say that dad and mom Erica did well with Mr. Jones. All right, so now 28.9 to go and the shot clock off here.
Well, St. John's can be aggressive. You can take a little time to go for a steal here. Don't have to foul right away.
Jones met at the timeline. Oh, dangerous, but Mitchell able to get it.
Boy, that was impressive stuff from Stevie Mitchell, because that could have been a disaster of a pass, and St. John's played that well.
And Mitchell was nowhere near that pass when it went in the air.
They're lucky it had enough air underneath it for him to just kind of sneak back in, make a play on it, and now get 2 foul shots.
So Stevie
Actually, it's the 1-and-1.
Yeah, 1-and-1 still. Mitchell today 3 of 5 at the line. But Marquette has left points at the stripe. They're 9 of 16 today as a team.
A 1-and-1 adds another layer of pressure in situations like this.
But he calmly knocks it down. Shaka Smart said Stevie Mitchell is a flat-out winner, one of the best I've ever coached, academic All-American. Biggest free throws of the season for him right here. He missed the second. St. John's down by 2. Shot clock off. 17 to go.
St. John's has got to get to the rim here. Put the onus on the defense.
Lewis inside. Yes! And we're knotted at 75. Jones brings it up. No timeouts for Marquette. Ben Gold, 3 seconds for the win. No! Mitchell flying in. There's no whistle. The horn sounds. 40 minutes is not enough. We are off to overtime. They are going to check just that final sequence here at the monitor. Well, you would have loved to have gotten Cam Jones a shot.
But the denial, St. John's totally takes him away. It ends up having to be Ben Gold. He tries to put it on the floor. Ejiofor's right there. That's good defense. Boy, I think we're just going to overtime. I don't think there's going to be any time put back on the clock. But what a job by the Johnnies defense there. You deny Jones. You get a good contest on the Gold drive. Really well done.
But yeah, that's what they're checking. Is there any time left? And if there is, who would get the ball? Even if they add time, I think it would be 0.1, and you can't get a shot off.
It would have to be a tip-in at the rim.
Yeah. But I'm with you. I don't know that there was anything left there.
Well, you go down there, and now you're in a scramble situation. R.J. Lewis has come up big time here in the second half.
Chase Ross was looking for a foul.
And you're never getting that call at this point in the game.
Yeah, Nathan Farrell, official, just said they're looking at the time to make sure that there's nothing left and that we will officially be off to overtime, which would be very fitting for this ball game today. 14 ties, 14 lead changes this afternoon.
St. John's ball, 0.2 on the clock.
Okay. Okay. So 0.2 seconds left.
Yeah, so you can tap it, throw it 94 feet, Hail Mary, and try to tip it in.
Well, put Zuby Ejiofor down there and see what happens. Iwuchukwu at 7-1, but it would be the game winner of all game winners. Yeah, also, this game has been played with nobody leading by more than 8. It's been just closely contested throughout. Iwuchukwu is not on the floor. Zuby Ejiofor is.
Well, Kadari Richmond has to understand this is a spot throw-in. So you can, running the baseline, you cannot do it here. That would be catastrophic. Oh, they're not even going to try.
Okay. They say let's play overtime here in Milwaukee. We'll be back with it. Don't go anywhere. Overtime is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. And there's only one day left in the regular season of the Big East. It's today, and we are starting our Saturday off with a bang here. 75 all. R.J. Lewis, we talked so much about Cam Jones, but Lewis, 21 points.
Yeah, and 17 of those coming after the half. He can beat you in a number of ways. He shoots it from 3, get to the mid-range, he can get to the rim, he plays both sides of the floor. He's going to be the Big East Player of the Year. R.J. Lewis has come to play when they've needed him most. You have to think he's going to be a major factor here in overtime.
If you're thinking about individuals with foul trouble, only Aaron Scott with St. John's has 4. Nobody for Marquette has more than 3. St. John's 2 timeouts and Marquette 1. What a primer for the Garden in New York City that we are getting here today with St. John's and Marquette. What does Cam Jones have left in the tank? 30 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists in regulation. Well, this is where we were 2 hours and 19 minutes ago with Gold and Ejiofor at center court. And off we go. St. John's will control it. Richmond over the top, Ejiofor double team, kicks it out. Richmond 15-footer, yes.
That's where Kadari Richmond is so good. 50% on the season on off the bounce too. Stevie Mitchell trying to dig it out. You play off a closeout. Kadari Richmond getting exactly what he wants.
Well, you want veterans like him right now, and he's played in 153 college games. Syracuse and Seton Hall, now St. John's. Gold down the lane, left hand, we're tied again.
There's that drive and a closeout again. You gotta respect him as a shooter. Ben Gold putting it on the floor and getting right by Ejiofor.
77 all. If you like college basketball, you are in the right spot.
Richmond can post you too. Oh, good hands.
But Ben Gold got his hand on it, and then a push. And the only thing right now is Cam Jones okay? Slow to get up.
The double comes here, and the active hands of Ben Gold gets a piece of it. Zuby Ejiofor runs over Cam Jones. A big stop for that Marquette defense.
That is 4 on Ejiofor, so both he and Aaron Scott one away from fouling out. Well, I was worried about Cam Jones, and he's walking a little gingerly, but you know he's not coming out of this game.
He's a warrior.
Well, and when your dad was an Air Force Master Sergeant, it's kind of tough to take yourself out of a game.
I would say. The toughness is instilled from a young age.
Just like in Valparaiso, Indiana, right?
Yeah, not that level of toughness.
Hasn't shot it great at the line this year, and he hasn't attempted a free throw today. And he misses the first.
St. John's does win this game. Marquette will look at their free throw numbers, 10 of 19, and say, man, between the easy baskets we missed at certain points in the game and the points left at the line, we let this one get away.
He missed them both.
That's shocking with the way he's played. He's not moving very well either.
Yeah, that fall got him pretty good. Iwuchukwu hasn't played a ton of minutes today or really on the season. Gives it up to Lewis.
But Lewis has got to drive this. He's got to take Cam Jones.
Now he pulls and he drops it down.
Why drive when you could just do that? R.J. Lewis, he loves that middle isolation. Raises up over the top.
23 now for R.J. Lewis Jr. See how Cam Jones moves here. Not sure he has that same explosion. Joplin off the shot fake. Kept the pivot foot. Needs a friend, but he throws it away. Ross had vacated that spot in a big turnover with 3:15 left.
St. John's defense just keeps making the next play. They get beat, the help comes over. You stop the basketball, you stay in the play. Nice job by Iwuchukwu of stepping up right there. And you're right, Chase Ross cutting. That ball's going out of bounds.
Crowd back standing. It's been a great game for this man. Simeon Wilcher off the drive. Whoa! Gold says no, sir.
How about took Matt Potter's head off the official? He just got drilled by this shot. Ben Gold, give him credit, recovering, sees it, and puts that thing in the stands. Sorry about you, Matt Potter. Oh my goodness.
13 to shoot. Here's their go-to guy, Lewis. Euro step. Oh, but he taps it home.
Second jump there. First of all, the move is big time. The strength, the Euro step, the balance, but then to stay with the play. R.J. Lewis is having himself a ball game.
Between he and Jones, 55 points. Here is Jones, a little strong. And St. John's now in the driver's seat here in overtime. Trying to get their 27th win of the season. Trying to go to the Garden at 18-2 in conference. Lewis, no. Strong rebound, Chase Ross.
David Joplin matching his physicality there.
And Ross is going to back it up and set the table. Joplin on the baseline, he's bumped. They're going to get Wilcher.
These baskets are made in the weight room for R.J. Lewis, but here instead of driving, he is pulling up and letting it fly over the top of Jones. The second jump here gets all the way downhill, stays right there with it. Offensive rebounding, a big story all afternoon long.
Well, we've got a moment. Timeout St. John's. Let's go out to Rob Stone in L.A.
All right, guys, thank you. Images from Storrs senior night. Hassan Diarra getting emotional ahead of UConn's meeting with Seton Hall. That one coming up next here on Fox. But for now, back to OT in Milwaukee.
Yeah, senior day here as well for Marquette. Their 3 senior stars as they try to get their 14th Big East win of the year. The Marquette Golden Eagles, St. John's, what an incredible year. A 3-game stranglehold at the top of the Big East for Rick Pitino's club and trying to get yet another marquee win under their belt.
Well, certainly the goal to solidify that 2 seed. This would go a long ways. At Marquette, this is a top 25 win in the net if you can get it. So another opportunity for St. John's to pad their resume going into the postseason.
And again, a program that hasn't won an NCAA tournament game since 2000, 0-4 since. Last year they thought they were going to get into the tournament, had a late surge, but the Johnnies were left out. They're not going to be left out of the party this year. And I don't know, just watching Cam Jones, Rob, those last couple of possessions after he went down, he looks a little limited.
Moving gingerly. If that's the case, you'd think that it's going to be David Joplin as the next man up to have to create.
Ben Gold also 13 points. He's missed his last couple of shots, but he's played pretty well again here today for Marquette.
The free throws have been the problem for the Golden Eagles. I mean, 10 of 20 in the game, 5 of 12 in the second half and overtime. Just not able to capitalize, and it's been the case here. Cam Jones missing 2, and I know he's not been great on the year, but pretty shocking for a guy that has his pedigree to, at this stage in the game, go 0 for 2 from the line.
He's trying to gut it out right now. Joplin has hit both of his today at 80% on the season. And here a pin drop, and he gets the bounce. Joplin committed to Shaka Smart when he was at Texas, but Joplin is a local kid. And when Shaka switched from Texas to Marquette, he said, David, come with me, and he has. And he's put together 4 straight years and 2 huge free throws right there.
The question for Marquette is, can they stop R.J. Lewis?
Here is Lewis.
Starting in that zone, but they're probably going to match up as they have all game long.
Cross-court skip, Wiltshire, how big would this be? But he left it short, and Gold flies in.
Right, talk about pursuing the rebound, which you have to do against the Johnnies, but Ben Gold going and getting that rebound.
90 seconds left in overtime. Here is Jones, gives it up. Ross for 3.
Oh, wow.
The bank is open on a Saturday in Milwaukee. Sits the crowd back down. A corner bucket to put the Johnnies back in front.
That's some Big East Player of the Year stuff right there. Just size your man up, and R.J. Lewis drills it right back at you.
Now Ross stops on a dime. Left it short. Boy, Ross is in some real pain right now.
That's 5 on 4. Ross can't get back. He's hurt.
And that was almost over and back for St. John's. Yeah, Ross is, he can hardly put any weight on that foot.
With St. John's not really attacking, they stopped the play.
Let's take a look. We've had a lot of crazy sequences today, and add this one to the ledger, and you just hope that Ross is okay.
He gets downhill. Actually, with the offensive rebound, it lands pretty close to him. It's kind of an awkward landing there.
Yeah, that left foot. junior, so sparkling early on today and has had such a great year, great defender, and 10 points a game, but right now he is really struggling to put any pressure on that left foot.
Good to see him walking that off. Sometimes those ankle rolls just really scare you. You have to hope that that's what that is. Still a little ginger for Ross as he makes his way to the bench.
Hey, a heads up for viewers in New York. You can watch the start of the Seton Hall UConn game on WWOR. Everyone else will be able to watch it in its entirety on the Fox Sports app. But this one has been a whale of a game today to finish off the Big East regular season slate for St. John's and Marquette.
Well, Kadari Richmond with a triple-double. R.J. Lewis now with 28. And the story in overtime has been all Lewis here. He has been dominant.
R.J. Lewis,
wow.
5-second call. They had a timeout, but instead they turn it over at the most inopportune time.
Ejiofor had kind of made himself available and just didn't throw him the ball.
Rick Pitino is thinking the count is fast. Like, that's not 5 seconds. And now Rick Pitino will take that timeout. So none left for St. John's. One for Marquette. Let's see if it was a quick count.
Want to watch Ejiofor just kind of flash open, and he is open. And R.J. Lewis just didn't throw him the ball.
When we started this game, both teams were turning it over at a very high rate. They settled in that second half, but that is a huge turnover right there with 38.9 remaining. Yeah, you noted it, but Kadari Richmond on that last bucket by Lewis got his 11th assist. So he quietly has 10, 12, and 11. And he and Lewis.
Boy, the last St. John's triple-double was Ron Artest. Talk about joining some rare air there.
And that, you have to go all the way back to January of 1999 for that last St. John's triple-double. And you think about Kadari's day, he's done it really quietly.
No, he totally has. It's not often you see a guy with a triple-double and you think, well, you know, he's played pretty well. He's honestly, he just affects the game in such a large number of ways. Maybe offensively for himself, it hasn't been his best day.
But he does it on defense.
No
we discussed his defense. And the thing that Rick Pitino said, with all his experience, he said he plays with a slow heartbeat. He's never sped up out there. Doesn't even look like he's sweating.
That must be nice. You know, you see some guys that look like they're giving max effort to just hang in to guard and rebound and do all these things. And there's other guys that they're having a cup of coffee and just out there and able to do it. He's one of those blessed guys.
When his college career, he's played for Jim Boeheim, Kevin Willard, Shaheen Holloway, and now Rick Pitino. So
he has run the gauntlet there.
He has. All right.
This is Cam Jones' time here.
Jones, 30 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. He's got it on the wing. He drives on Scott. Off the window, and we're tied again.
And use that off right hand, certainly to leverage it, but the slip by Gold, you're worried about the pick and pop, and that allows Cam Jones to get to his left hand.
Here we go, shot clock off. The Johnnies with a chance to win it. They have no timeouts.
It's going to be this guy right here. This is R.J. Lewis, his game to win.
The likely Big East Player of the Year. He pulls from distance. Missed it. Russ with a rebound. Taken away. Wilcher to Ejiofor.
Oh!
St. John's at the buzzer. In overtime to get their 18th Big East win of the season before they head to the Garden for the tournament. Unbelievable. And 17,000 are in stunned silence in Milwaukee
You think you have the stop here. You secure the defensive rebound, but give credit, it's Kadari Richmond who knocks it free. Simeon Wilcher makes the play, and Zuby Ejiofor floats it up with touch. What a sequence. That ball's out of his hand. St. John's, what a play.
Richmond got the tap out and then that great pass. And Rob, all of that with 2 seconds to have the awareness to know that you can throw that pass, and Ejiofor puts it home.
This team has found ways all year long to win close games. And here on the road, hostile environment, senior day for Marquette. St. John's found their way again.
Confirmed. 2 points St. John's. That's the end of the game.
And there you go, the confirmation, the bucket counts in one of the best games that you will see in college basketball this year. Ends with St. John's getting to 27-4 with a 2-point win at the buzzer here at Fiserv Forum. For our entire crew, Brad Weimer, Dustin Denny, Robbie Hummel, and everybody else, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Next is Seton Hall and UConn.